What is up, guys? Welcome to ThoughtCast. My name is Sumi, and today I'm going to be talking about how to avoid STDs. I talk about this topic so passionately because back in my heyday, I was out here doing everything and anything, and I was with a lot of questionable people. And it's a miracle that I don't have an STD today. It is a miracle. I don't know how it happened. I don't know what kind of God and angel is looking over me, but I'm so thankful that I don't have anything permanent, and I'm blessed beyond blessed. That being said, I'm very passionate about this topic because there are many situations that I could have engaged in something that would have ended me up with some kind of permanent medical condition. Now, for all of you out there that might have a condition like this, you gotta understand that STDs are very common. A lot of people have them, and it's important to practice safe sex whenever you can. I know this topic may be a little bit out of left field and maybe a little vulgar, but I think it's important to talk about because many of you don't have this conversation with your parents, you don't have this conversation with a reasonable friend, and so let me have this conversation with you. How to avoid STDs. STDs are probably one of the worst things you can ever encounter in life, and they can ruin your life. They can ruin your sex life and your ability to engage with people in a sexual and intimate manner because having an STD dramatically decreases your ability to engage in sexual relationships as long as you're being honest. Now, you can lie to people and do all these things, but there's penalties and fines and legalities to that. You know, I talk about this very passionately because there was a turning point in my college life that literally shocked the hell out of me. I was talking to this girl and she was gorgeous, right? This wasn't a serious type of talking. It was just me engaging with her in some type of way. We never hooked up or anything like that, but this girl was beautiful beyond means. Everybody wanted her. Everybody wanted to engage with her. She was talking to all the college players, and I just wanted my chance to be with her. And, you know, she had a lot of options, and she said that she wanted to go to this event with me. This event is called Dated. It's where this sorority or fraternity rent out a bar, and it's really nice, and they have this huge party there, and I don't know what the purpose of this is, but it's just cool stuff to do in college. So, that being said, she said she was going with me. Last second, I found out she was going with another guy. I was heartbroken. I was so sad. I was so hurt. It broke me in so many pieces. There I was in college, and I wasn't the best looking guy back then, and I'm still not the best looking guy now. There's a ton of guys that were cooler than me, better than me, taller than me, whatever it might be. And she went with this guy, and, you know, he was a really cool guy, right? He was a very popular dude from a fraternity, and I'm like, you know, whatever. At the time, I was very jealous of him, and they seemed to have a great time. In fact, they very much did have a great time. They ended up hooking up. 2 months later, I found out that he got HIV from her. And this blew my mind. It blew my mind because that could have been me. I was a guy wishing to be in that situation. I was a guy that would have engaged with her unprotected and done anything to be with this girl because I was so fascinated and so immersed and so seduced by her beauty. And this guy was probably in the same boat. And his friends, everyone around him, they were devastated. HIV is a serious thing in a college campus. And we joke about it a lot. Like, people make a lot of, you know, side comments about AIDS and HIV, but it's a very, very serious thing. It's a real thing. It's a detrimental disease that costs a lot of money to even deal with. And it's, you know, there's no cure to it. So it made me realize that, you know, it's dangerous out here. You have to be safe. And I'll tell you one thing about STDs. The people that are the most attractive typically have STDs. And that's just me speaking generalistically, because people that are the most attractive are typically the ones that engage with more sexual partners. So you got to understand that the more attractive a girl is, the more attractive a guy is, they may have a higher correlation for having an STD. Now, that's not causation, because correlation does not prove causation, but you must understand that the girls that I find that are the most attractive are typically the ones that are engaging with the most men. And the men that I find that are the most handsome and the most, you know, stud-like out there are the ones that are engaging with the most women. And when you increase the numbers, when you multiply the numbers out there, and you have this partner and this partner and this partner, the STDs just go up. And there's a variety of STDs out there, from chlamydia to HIV to AIDS to herpes to gonorrhea to syphilis, so on and so forth. They're all bad. They're all not good. You do not want to get any of these because they all have detrimental health effects and detrimental side effects. These are all something that you want to avoid. So how do you avoid STDs? Number one, technology is an amazing thing nowadays. You can get STD checks pretty much once a month now, and you can show it up on your phone. There's apps that literally prove that you're clean and that you have an STD check. And for those of you that are very sexually active, I encourage you to get STD checks once a month. And I know that sounds like a lot, and you might be wondering, how many partners are you having? Well, for me, I'll tell you right now, I was having a lot of partners back in the day. Not so much anymore, but back in the day, I was engaging with a lot of people, and I got STD checked every single month. And it's important for you to do this to make sure that you're doing this in a safe and practical manner. Another thing is, use condoms. Be safe. Don't just go in and engage with someone and not use a condom. Like, always be prepared. Anything can happen at any time, especially if you're young and you're in college and you're in that lifestyle. And another thing I'll tell you is, be careful of the people you engage with. If someone just looks sloppy, if they are, you know, out and about and they don't necessarily care about a condom and they're not necessarily caring about protection, you've got to be careful. And this goes for girls too. Like, this is not just a guy thing where, like, a guy doesn't want to use a condom, because typically I think that guys get blamed for not using condoms. It's girls as well. girls will just forego it. And for them, I know it doesn't necessarily make a difference. And that's why I get very cautious with the women that I sleep with. I don't sleep with women I don't know. I don't sleep with women that I don't necessarily have a good understanding of their sexual history anymore. Because for me, protecting my health is the most important thing. You can have sex with a lot of people out there in the world. Sex is an intense emotional interaction, and arguably it's very important for a relationship. But at the end of the day, don't engage in a situation that you don't feel 100% secure in. Don't engage in a situation where you don't necessarily know the person. When you're engaging very physically and very intimately with someone off a one-night stand, you don't know where they've been, what they've done, how they've done it, and so on and so forth. You don't know where this person has really laid their private parts on. And I'm being very vulgar right now because I want you to understand you can pick up something that will haunt you for the rest of your life. Most of these STDs out there are not curable. You have to get it through your head that you have to protect yourself. So when I talk about protecting yourself from STDs, the number one thing is just not having sex. But the reality is most of the world right now is very sexually active because of the culture we live in, because of the society we live in. So practice safe sex. Look at the people that you're engaging with. Make sure you're getting checked consistently so that you're not passing something on and that you're not at risk.